First came to Westminster at the end of 2006 to visit as a candidate, and then was called here to serve the congregation almost 13 years ago in 2007 to serve as the Children, Youth, and Families pastor. And I felt overwhelmed by Westminster in the best sense of the words, by the dedication of the staff and the lay leaders and the clergy in the congregation, the commitment to furthering the ministries of this church. I will say I did feel a little overwhelmed by the size and the scope of the building, which is funny now because it's half the size then as it is now. But I just remember feeling so full of gratitude and joy and hope for what my ministry here at Westminster might become. So a lot has happened in those 13 years since I first came here. My husband and I met and were married in the sanctuary here at Westminster. We welcomed 3 children into the life of our family and also into the life of this church, and we're so grateful for the ways they're folded into this church family, and each was baptized here. I've made a few pastoral transitions and taken on different roles and responsibilities, and I have really felt my own faith and my own leadership and my own pastoral identity grow as this congregation has grown and changed over these last years. My kids love this place because they feel known and valued and loved and welcomed here. They feel safe, maybe sometimes almost a little too safe and welcomed as they take free run of the place, but they know that they belong here and that there is a whole circle of other adults and loving individuals who will listen to them, who will ask them tough questions, and will help them grow in their faith. And I've said many times that if I didn't serve this congregation, Westminster is absolutely the place that would be our family's church home. I think some of the first places my children identify with would be the hallways. They love to run in the open spaces, and especially because they may tend to be here at odd times when there aren't as many people around. I think they actually also love this space, my office, and there's a lot of evidence of their presence here. I also know that they love being in Tim's office because they know where all the candy is stashed, and they also love to find all the little surprises and toys and artifacts that Tim has in his space, and they've always been very welcomed there to play and roam. So this office is a space that offers me a place to think and focus sometimes, but probably more it's a space where I'm not so much on my own, but I'm meeting with staff members so I can hear what their needs are and support them in their ministries, or I'm meeting one-on-one with congregation members who are in need of pastoral support. So for me, it's really a sacred space for us to be together, to listen to one another and pray together and find ways that we can serve God and serve God's people together. In thinking about the opportunities we had with Open Doors, Open Futures to design spaces that were welcoming and inclusive and adaptive for all, especially for the children and youth of our church and our community, it was really important that we would design a space where kids could run and be free and not worry about breaking anything. And I'd love to show you that space. Well, I know Tim shared some of the more traditional spaces in the church that are favorites for him, and I thought we might visit the recreation room today, one of the newer spaces in the church. And I know I connect with this space both as a pastor and as a parent. My kids love spending time here, especially on Wednesday evenings. And in this space right where I'm standing on Wednesday nights, there's usually a set of chairs and a rotating group of parents and family members who are in conversation and fellowship with one another as they keep an eye on the tossing balls and the running kids inside the room. So let's go take a look inside. So as I walk into this space now, It's empty and it's quiet, and I can hear the echoes of my footsteps. But it does remind me of the times when this room is used for the Scouts Pinewood Derby. And as I mentioned, when the Westminster children are playing in here, dodgeball and rolling around on wheelie toys. Our St. David's friends, our partnership with St. David's Center, they actually use this space twice a day, all throughout the week when they're meeting here on site. And it's a place for therapeutic learning and large movement for those young ones. You know, we intentionally designed this room that it could be adaptive and creative, and we designed one whole wall with windows that look out onto the city and that the city can see into the life of Westminster and the ministries that are happening here. And sometimes when I'm leaving here late at night and I drive down Marquette and I look back toward the church and it's dark outside and it's lit up in here, I might see a dinner for a visiting organization meeting here in this room, or I might see our scouts running around, or our Westminster children, and it just reminds me of the life and the love and the vibrancy of the ministries that are happening here at Westminster. As I look out the window from the recreation room onto a very quiet city with hardly anyone driving by or walking by, I'm reminded of the ways we've used the outdoor space on the Marquette Green for worship or blessing of the bikes, or to have a food truck and fellowship and fun together. And I look forward to those times when we will do that again. I also see the mostly bare trees and landscaping, but I trust on this early spring morning that the tiniest of buds are just starting to grow and are just starting to come to life. And just as I trust that they will come into full bloom and beauty, I'm holding on tightly to the reminder that that time will come again for us to all be together here at Westminster.